number 17 Boise State beating UNLV 29-24, officially clinching Dalton a 2-game lead over me going into next week's previews. That was the only game, Dalton, that we actually disagreed on, and you ended up winning that. So let's go over the highest grade players, starting off with the Boise State Broncos. Linebacker Andrew Simpson, 86th grade. Seiyi Oladipo with a 75.8 grade. Jeremiah Irby with a 73.8 grade. And then Ashton Jeanty, 72.1. Tight end Matt Wagner, 68.2. And then quarterback Maddux Madsen with an 81.1 grade. Let's go over to UNLV with their highest grade players, starting off with defensive tackle Alex Whitemore with a 73.2 grade, Antonio Doyle Jr., the edge defender, 71.5, Jackson Woodard, the linebacker, 71.2, edge defender Fisher Kamek with a 69.7, Tony Grimes, the corner, 67.7, and then Haj Malik Williams, the quarterback, 67.3. Dalton, for you, what was the stat that told the story?
This was about Boise State winning in just enough of the biggest moments, right? And Ashton Jeanty had, 138 yards, somewhere in there. He had a good day. For any other running back, it would be a great day. But, he had to grind, and Boise State really had to grind. But they won the biggest moments. My stat is they went 4 for 4 on 4th down. Okay, there was 4 different plays on 4th and short in this game that they converted on 4 different drives, okay? Those drives, 3 touchdowns, and then the end of the game when they sealed the game off, the very last play that before the kneel downs that they converted. So this was a tight game, very even game. I think a game where both defenses did a good job of taking away the opponent's best weapon, right? Jeanty, you're never going to completely take him away, but it was kind of inefficient. It wasn't his best night.
No, yeah.
UNLV did a great job tackling, and Jeanty made some of his plays, but nothing that popped off the tape, right? And look, Boise held Ricky White to five catches for 57 yards, which is a great night against him. So classic kind of take away the opponent's best weapon game, very even. These are 2 really good football teams. We might see them playing each other again in the Mountain West title game. But Boise in the biggest moments that they needed to. And I thought especially that last drive where they killed the last 8 minutes of the game. That said everything we needed to know, because essentially the game before that was even. Boise had a lead, but they really, to salt away the last 8 minutes of the game in just a slow, grinding fashion. This was a game where maybe Ashton Jeanty didn't pop off the tape with 250 yards and big 60-yard runs and all of that, but this was a grinder. And when they needed first downs, they got to it. But those 4 plays on 4th down, that extended drives, again, 3 touchdown drives and the game-winning drive that killed the clock, that's where it was. Boise won the biggest moments of this game.
Absolutely. And on the other side of the ball, I mean, UNLV, negative .290 EPA per pass, the second worst EPA per pass the Rebels had all year. They could not get anything going through the air. Haj Malik Williams, 53.3 passing grade, 12 for 21, 179 yards, 2 touchdowns, and an interception. He had 2 big-time throws and 3 turnover-worthy plays. He was sacked 6 times in that game, 4 of which were his fault. So 4 of the 6 sacks were not on the offensive line. It was on Haj Malik Williams. You mentioned it. UNLV, 56.6 receiving grade. Their top player, Ricky White, 5 catches for 57 yards. They did enough to slow down Ashton Jeanty on defense to win this game. They did enough to win this game defensively. They just could not get anything going through the air with Haj Malik Williams and Ricky White. Their run game, UNLV, was actually pretty solid. It was pretty good, but they just could not find any semblance of a dependable passing attack right now. So that UNLV passing game, I think, was the ultimate reason why they weren't able to pull it out. Because, like I said, with Ashton Jeanty running for little under 4 yards per carry or something like that, that's good enough against the best player, or against arguably the best player in college football. They couldn't get anything going through the passing game. That's why they ultimately lost this game.
It was. Definitely, we've seen now, and I'd be worried about this in another rematch, is we've seen 2 games in a row now. I've had it as a key coming into the game where Boise has found a way to shut down Ricky White. And Ricky White is the biggest part of this passing game, and I would argue the biggest part of this offense, because he brings that balance. And he is, I think he's one of the elite receivers in the country. He's a great football player. But Boise State does a great job bracketing, rotating coverages towards him, finding ways to just make somebody else beat them. They did it again in this game. There wasn't many scenarios where UNLV was going to win this game where White only had 57 yards. So credit to Boise's defense for that. And it felt like you mentioned, UNLV, especially when they got behind the sticks and on 3rd down, it was a struggle to get anybody else open.
Absolutely. So, Dalton, for you, what was the most impressive part of the Boise State victory?
Give me the quarterback, Maddux Madsen.
Yeah.
I mean, he just found a way. This is a guy, he's not a flashy football player, but he's the right guy for this team. And we questioned it at the beginning of the year a little bit. Well, they brought in 5-star Q Malachi Nelson from USC and this and that. And Madsen, you know what? He's small. What is he, 5'10"? He doesn't have the biggest arm in the world. He's not the greatest athlete in the world, but he does enough. He plays with urgency, and he plays fundamentally sound football. And a couple of areas I want to point out here. One, he had 3 carries beyond the kneel downs. Take the kneel downs out of it. 3 carries for 58 yards. 1 was a touchdown, and the 2 others were first downs. Had big runs when he needed to and on play action. Okay, I thought there was moments in the middle of this game where, okay, Ginty doesn't have it rolling. That's okay. We got to find other answers then. We can't just run this guy into a brick wall. Play action. Use Ginty as the decoy, right? Madsen, 8 for 11, 88 yards, and a 90 passing grade on play action. Had a touchdown in there also. That's all you need out of him. That's what you need. Maddux Madsen's not going to go out there and throw for 400 yards. They don't have the weapons for that. He's not built like that. He is built exactly for this moment. Play action, Ginty as a decoy, make the throws when we need to, move the chains. We'll get back to Ashton later. And they did that in the fourth quarter. Maddux Madsen, I was really impressed with in his first not his first huge game. He had the Oregon game earlier in the year, but really in Boise's biggest game of the season, kept us cool, made plays when it was necessary, and showed why they picked him to win the starting job earlier in the year.
Absolutely. And the fact that we're talking about Ashton Ginty having a down game, he's got 128 yards and a touchdown is like...
Yeah, I mean,
it's crazy.
It's a 72 grade, and people... don't know why the Heisman odds moved down, but
he's 4th now.
This is any other running back has that game, and they're like, "Wow, what a great day!" Yeah,
how is he 4th? Eli is pissed. I know back there because Jesse Heisman. I don't know how he's 4th now in Heisman odds.
Those
Heisman odds don't make any sense.
He'll come back out probably next week and drop 2 something.
Yeah,
I forget.
And they'll move right back up.
Yeah, it's what he does.
It would have made sense if UNLV won the game for him to drop to 4th. But the fact that Boise won,
he still found a way to win. And they salted away the last 8 minutes.
Yeah, come on.
But no. Again, credit to Boise in those moments because that's not 128's not what he usually puts up. Credit to Boise for finding other ways.
The playoffs right in front of them as well. I mean, Navy losing that game that eliminates one of the contenders for them. I mean, Army's still looming for them as well, but Boise very much is in the driver's seat for the college football playoff right now. My most impressive part was going into Maddux Madsen. The pass blocking for him was outstanding. 82.3 pass blocking grade, no sacks allowed, no hits allowed, 3 pressures allowed on 35 pass blocking snaps. It was the 3rd time this year that Boise State did not surrender a sack or a hit in a game this year. Hall Schmidt, 0 pressures allowed on 35 snaps. Zach Holmes, 0 pressures allowed on 31 snaps. They didn't do much in the run game. The run blocking wasn't great, but Maddux Madsen was kept clean all night, and that's a big reason why he was able to be as effective as he was, like he just went into.
Totally agree. Yeah, no, it was a really good team win for Boise State, and I think they're going to appreciate that win, maybe even more so than if they just had Ginty go for 300 yards. It was a great team win against a really, really good UNLV team, and I won't be shocked at all if we see another rematch in this game.
I hope we do. We very much could in the Mountain West title game. Honestly, that could be a huge game for the college football playoff race, but right now, Boise State is very much in the driver's seat for the Group of 5 playoff spot in the college football playoff.